Former NFL star Antonio Brown arraigned today on charges of second-degree attempted murder, appearing virtually. We've entered a not guilty plea, demanded trial by jury. The charge is stemming from this moment captured on video. Back in May, authorities say Brown was armed with a gun, chased after a man he just fought with outside a celebrity boxing match, and fired 2 shots. The alleged victim claims to have suffered a grazed wound to his neck. A day after the shooting, Brown claimed self-defense, posting on social media. Regarding the boxing event that happened last night, I was jumped by multiple individuals who tried to steal my jewelry and cause physical harm to me. Authorities say he left for Dubai shortly after the altercation. He was at Dubai. We knew this because of his videos. Brown posting this video on social media at a hotel in Dubai is part of a brand partnership with a crypto gambling platform. In this video, showing a luxury car with what appears to be a Dubai license plate. After being extradited back to the States, you have your ankle bracelet on? He was released on bail after posting $25,000 last week. Over the weekend, Brown appearing on Angels and Demons podcast to talk about his mental health.
It's never easy. Life's not easy. And
not discussing his recent charges. The former wide receiver was once considered one of the league's most successful late-round draft picks, dubbed himself Tony Toe Tap for plays like this.
Brady, end zone, caught by Brown.
Keeping both feet in bounds on a challenging sideline catch. Raking in several brand deals like this Pepsi ad.
Antonio, what have you got in mind? Bit of a throwback.
But overshadowing his professional accomplishments, a string of legal battles. NFL star Antonio Brown, accused of sexually assaulting a woman who worked as his trainer. In 2019, the New England Patriots releasing him from the team amid sexual assault and misconduct allegations that he denied. And in 2021, while playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Brown removing his uniform mid-game, walking off the field shirtless after talking to a coach. That move effectively ended his career. Brown never played professional football again. Brown later said in a statement he had left the field because he was forced to play on an injured ankle. Now awaiting trial on the attempted murder charges, he's on house arrest, wearing an ankle monitor. If convicted, he could face up to 30 years in prison.
Sheesh. Sheesh. Good afternoon. I hope everyone is doing well. You're having a good day, a good Saturday. Hopefully everyone's relaxing. Hopefully everyone is relaxing. So yeah, today I wanted to talk about Antonio Brown because I've been wondering this. I've been wondering ever since I found out about C.T.E. And then when I look at him and everything he got going on and everything that he has been had going on since I believe since he was with the daggone Steelers taking a trip. So I'm wondering, is the C.T.E. or is he just a toxic man that just needs to get some help? And then it could possibly be a mixture of the two. But I'm really wondering if any of this is C.T.E. induced. And the sucky thing about C.T.E., at least as of yet, there's no way of finding out or being diagnosed with it while you're still alive. That's something that they don't find out if you have until after you pass, and then they examine your brain. Which is really crazy when you think about it, because all the technology that we have in this day and age, and all of the things that we're able to detect some early on while people are still living. It's interesting that with this one, there's not really nothing they can do, at least not that I'm privy of, until after the person has passed. Hey, CP3, good afternoon. How are you? So that's what I'm wondering. I want to talk about it for a bit. CP3, Broham, pretty soon, really would have to be in the next couple of days or the next week at minimum. I'm going to, what did I say? I want to do like picks because this is the last week of the regular NFL season, and then playoffs start next week. So I kind of want to do like a live where we just have fun and just do picks of like, well, I don't know exactly what you want to call it because I don't bet. So we're not going to be betting, but I don't know what they call it. Like I've heard parlays, picks, stuff like that. So I don't know exactly what it's called. I'm gonna keep it a bean. I might just stick with like picks, like weekly pick type ish. And I think that would be fun. Just have everybody make their picks of who they think is going to do this or that or whatever. How exactly does that work? I don't know. We'll find out. You said all Gucci. How you? I'm all right. I'm okay. I don't got no legit complaints. Pick 'em or picks is fine. Okay, cool beans. That's probably what I'm gonna go with. Because I was talking about that with somebody earlier. I was saying want to do that. And really, I thought, see how much I'd be paying attention. I thought this week started the playoffs, but no, this is the last week of the regular season. I really don't like that with football when it comes to the playoffs. It's one or done. You either winning or you're going home. But with freaking basketball, those mofos get 7 goes at it. Well, 7 games, even though sometimes they get swept. So it doesn't even make it to the 7, but still. But I don't know, because they do play more games too. So it's weird. That's a conversation I'm gonna have too at a later date. Yeah, they added a game to the regular season 2 years ago. Okay. Because I don't like that it's one and done, but whatever. Any given Sunday. Everybody just gotta be on their dean, but I'm not gonna get sidetracked. I want to talk about Antonio Brown and C.T.E. First, I'll read this definition that they gave for what C.T.E is. I'm not going to do a deep dive into it. All right, so chronic traumatic. Ooh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to say this word. Chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Uh, encep- encephalopathy. 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 CTE for short. That word got me. Encephalopathy. CTE is a progressive brain disease linked to repeated head trauma, causing memory loss, confusion, aggression, depression, and impulse control issues. Gee, often appearing years after injuries from contact sports or military service. It's diagnosed via brain tissue. So that I guess they take a piece of your brain tissue and they test it after death, but can be managed, but can be managed. How are you going to manage it if you don't know you have it? Oh, okay. It can be managed with prevention, focusing on avoiding repeated head impacts. I was about to say, how can it be managed if you don't find out the person has it until after they're already passed? That may be why they switched up the helmets. I forget how long ago they switched up the helmets. And don't judge me, y'all. I could not pronounce that last word. So we're just gonna rock with C.T.E. Hmm. That's probably why they switched up the helmets. I'm wondering. Because if I'm not mistaken, the NFL switched up how the helmets are made. I believe it has more cushion inside, but don't quote me. And I'm wondering, let me see when that movie that Will Smith did on C.T.E. When did that come out? I'll be honest with y'all, I didn't watch that movie. I probably should have. I don't know if it's a good movie or not. Let me see. When did that movie come out? And if you guys seen the movie, let me know how it was. Hold on. Because when you're doing contact sports like football, there's only so much you can do to prevent injury, unless you're going to completely switch up the rules of the game. What is the movie called? If I'm not mistaken, it's based off of a true story. All right, so the movie is called Concussion. Dang, he did that movie in 2015. I didn't watch it. This may be a real, I think it is, let me see. Oh, yep. Okay. So that movie that he did, that Will Smith did, called Concussion, which hyper focused on CTE in football, is based on a true story of Dr. Bennett Amalu, a Nigerian-born forensic pathologist who discovered CTE, caused that discovered CTE caused by repeated head trauma. The film chronicles his research, the initial resistance from the NFL, and his fight to bring the truth about brain injuries in football to light. Okay, dang, this probably is a good movie. I'm gonna watch it. So if that was in 2015, that definitely shed a light on CTE, which probably gave them no choice but to switch up the helmets and make some changes. And if I'm not mistaken, uh, you know what? I don't know if I can say maybe. I would have to look more into it, but I want to say Aaron Hernandez probably has CTE too, but I'm not 100% sure. Rest in peace to him. Oh yeah. See, this crap is crazy. I wish there was a way that they could spot this beforehand. Not beforehand, but like spot it without somebody having to have passed. Because that could probably prevent a lot of traumatic things from happening to people. Let me see. Former NFL player Aaron Hernandez had a severe stage three, dang, had severe stage 3 CTE at the time of his death because he unalived himself in prison while he was in prison for unaliving a few people. Sheesh. Um, the worst case ever seen in someone his age with brain damage, typically found in much older individuals, linked to aggression, impulsivity, and mood swings, leading his family to sue the NFL, alleging they concealed the risk of repeated head trauma, which researchers believe contributed to his behavioral issues. Hmm. I'll put a cap on that with Aaron Hernandez right now. But okay. Yeah, this is something. And rest in peace to him, and rest in peace to the people that he was alleged to have unalived. That's crazy. And he had some ish with him. I'll leave that alone. He definitely has some ish with him. Okay. Let's go back to Antonio Brown, 'cause he's the topic. Really him and just CTE as a whole right now, but still. Mm-mm-mm. I never really spent much time looking into CTE. Like, I was aware of it, just like I was aware of the movie that Will Smith did, highlighting it, but I never took the time to really look anything into it. And to keep it a bean, this is like an impromptu topic because earlier I was just sitting down to myself and I was just writing down a couple topic ideas. Like I was just sitting there thinking. And then as I'm thinking, I'm just writing it down. And this topic was the first one I wrote down. So, let's see what we have here. Let's see. Because not to make excuses for anyone's bad behavior, especially like in Aaron Hernandez case when he actually was convicted of unaliving people, or in Antonio Brown's case when he's been involved in all type of mess. And his last incident about a month ago involving a shooting. But I'm wondering if there's something there deeper than just them being two toxic men with terrible decision making. I'm wondering. I really am.
You could say Domino's new spicy.
And I don't know, obviously, if Antonio Brown has CTE because, like I just read, there's no real way, at least none that they're telling us. But you know how that goes. Need to know information. But I'm wondering if there's something more behind that. And if that's something people should really take into consideration when they sign their kids up for football, really contact any you there's always a risk for injury when playing sports, right? So no, that in itself shouldn't deter you away from wanting to rather it's you playing sports yourself or having your kids do it or niece, nephew, whatever, grandchild if you're raising them. There's always a risk for injury, but there's a difference between it being a risk for a short-term injury, like God forbid, uh, you break your arm, break your leg, finger. Sometimes in basketball, somebody might elbow the crap out of you, whatever, get tackled too hard. And it seems the injury of choice for basketball seems to be that ACL, if I'm not mistaken. God forbid, right? So that's one thing to take that risk. But then when you're talking about a risk that can lead to long-term effects, long-term damage, that not only messes you up, messes your brain up, could lead to you making terrible life decisions that will alter your life and other people's lives. That's something to take into consideration. And I don't really see them switching up the rules for NFL any more than what has already been switched up. I don't see them softening it up any more than what it's already been softened, because it's definitely been softened compared to how it used to be. But they have made improvements when it comes to the protection. And it's crazy when you think about it because football been around for a very long time, a very, very long time, which is why people want to act like the Eagles didn't get a championship back in the day, but they wasn't calling it Super Bowls back then. They was calling it something else. So think like when you think about it, when they were playing with them soft shell behind helmets, them weak body helmets, and the rules were barely none, people were getting cracked. They were getting tore up. And then even when you fast forward it from there, just think about all the people that played that took very hard hits on a week to week basis. There's a lot of people that are probably messed up from that. And I was just talking about NFL. Don't get me started on college football. Don't get me started on high school football. Don't get me started on I was about to say little league, but like when you're younger, it just really has you wondering. And it says the effects of that you won't notice it until a couple years after the injury has happened. But when it's a week to week basis, it's like injury on top of injury. I don't know. Very unfortunate. When Eunice was younger and he passed young. But Antonio Brown is still young himself. But if you were in the beginning of this live, you would hear the news clip that I played. If he's convicted of this, he's got to be sent away for a while. And that's the thing about self-defense. Each state's self-defense laws vary. Some states have little to no self-defense law protection. And then and then you also got to think, okay, was the gun registered legally? Was it registered to him? Would he do all those things? Yeah, he's 37, very young. That's a very young age. Well, you know what? I'm not going to say very young. Correction. But he's definitely young. He's not old. I'm not going to say very young. That's a stretch. But geesh. So that happened in Miami. I don't know what Miami. Well, you know what? I think Florida has the stand your ground laws, but I don't know. And then he went and got low on him, and they had to extradite him. The guy was like, "Yeah, you can have him." Mm-mm-mm. I don't know how y'all feel about this topic. CP3, are you still here? And if you're not, hello to whoever is the one person in my cloud. And thank you for coming, Broham. And thank you to anybody that's gonna listen to this playback or replay. Give me your thoughts in the comment section. Should none with you everywhere like the air. Hey, Cuttin. Yeah, give me your thoughts on this topic if you have any. What do you think? How do you feel about the situation with Aaron Hernandez and him being diagnosed? What I say, stage 3? He said, "What it do? What it do, Sheldon? Nothing, just relaxing." I forget. What did I say? I think I said stage 3. I don't think I said stage 4. Stage 3 CTE. And he was in his what did I say, late 20s when he passed. They said that's the worst case worst case diagnosed for somebody that young. And imagine, because y'all, especially men, y'all know how it goes, and women that have sons that play, they start at a very young age. Most of the men that are in the NFL have played from at least, what is the starting age for football? I want to say like 6 at the minimum. So if he passed in his late 20s, and he probably played since he was like 6, 7, 8, so about 20 years of playing. Okay, about 20 years of playing or so for Hernandez, starting from a child and up. Think about how many hits he took. And then what are y'all thoughts about Antonio Brown? Because I'm not sure if it's C.T.E. or if he's just a toxic individual. Bad decision making. So let's continue. Says Antonio Brown has frequently discussed C.T.E. Agent. It's a brain disease linked to repeated head trauma, linking it to his own erratic behavior. That's an interesting way of putting it. Linking it to his own erotic behavior and accusing former teammate James Harrison of causing his CTE with a severe hit in 2013. So if you guys want to take the time, go and look up Antonio Brown, James Harrison hit in 2013, severe hit. Though Brown's views on the condition have shifted, sometimes denying its effects while also acknowledging football's mental toll and advocating for player mental health, but he has never received a medical diagnosis for CTE, as is only confirmable post-mortem, which to me is crazy wild work. And I feel like if more time and energy was focused into finding a way to be able to detect it without you having to be passed, they would be able to find a way. But y'all know how that goes. All right, so it's crazy the things you'll find if you look it up. Key points on Antonio Brown and C.T.E. Initial accusation. Brown pointed to a specific helmet-to-helmet hit from James Harrison as the source of his aggression and claimed it caused his CTE. Okay. Shifting stance. He sometimes denied having CTE, claiming he's mentally sharp and had a few major hits. And had few major hits, but also stated he feels like he feels the cumulative impact of football leads to trauma, which that can be the case as well with anything. Stress will do it to you. CTE as trauma. Brown has suggested CTE is a collection of traumatic experiences, not just brain damage, and something all players endure. I mean, I can believe it. You get traded on the fly. You could have just bought a house. Boom, now you're traded. Or cut, depending. There's a lot that can go into being stressed out from being a football player. Same way it has its blessings. That's almost with anything. They're still people. They're just people that get paid a lot of money to do something they've loved to do from the age of 6, 7, 8 years old. Advocacy and controversy. He's called for mental health support for players and discussed CTE on platforms. Huh. On platforms like his show, C.T.E. I didn't even know he had a show called that, but okay. Though his narratives have varied, he a little back and forth with his stuff. Official status. No official CTE diagnosis exists for Brown, as it's a condition diagnosed after death. We went over that. But many speculate his actions align with symptoms like impulsivity, mood swings, and aggression. Many speculate his actions align with the symptoms of CTE. In essence, Antonio Brown's relationship with CTE is complex, involving personal claims, shifting perspectives, and raising broader questions about player mental health, all while the definitive diagnosis of CTE remains beyond living players. Yeah, and I don't know how long post mortem would they be able to run that. Like, okay, say for example, say somebody that played has been gone for 10 years, right? And their family is like, you know what? We want to have his brain tested because this, that, and the third, right? I wonder, so obviously they would have to get permission for that. And there's not many people that would feel comfortable with disrupting the dead like that. But if they felt strongly about it, especially if their loved one was exhibiting peculiar behaviors after taking hits to the brain, I wonder, like, what is the quote unquote statute of limitations to that? Like, how long after someone has passed would they be able to do the test? What's the cap on it? What's the cutoff year, amount of years? Or is it something that has to be tested immediately after someone passes while the brain is still quote unquote fresh and the tissues are still quote unquote fresh? I don't know. I'm wondering. I'm wondering. So with all these, so with a lot of these, hold on. So with a lot of these physical sports, there's a lot of science and evidence that has showed head trauma of various degrees causes significant damage to the brain. Protective gear is not enough. And I was saying cutting edge. If I'm not mistaken, I believe the NFL has switched up the design of the helmets a few years ago, to which it adds more, I guess, cushion to the skull. And truth be told, like the protection can do what it can do, but it can't stop the brain from rattling inside of the skull from the impact of being hit. It can protect the direct impact, but that brain, mm-mm, mm-mm. Uh, mm-mm. Unfortunately, the reality is more of these cases is going to come forth like Brown and Hernandez. One has to remember the brain is a very fragile thing. Called, any damage can cause catastrophic consequences. Yeah, my bad. I came through late. I'm just adding my 2 cents. I played myself a lot of sports and did physical things in various missions. Yeah, and like I was saying, that puts parents in a rock and a hard place because, especially if you're well read on these things, because that may deter people from signing their kids up to play football and just have them focus on a different type of sport to where there still is a risk for injury, but not on the long term level like this. It's crazy. Yeah, I'm wondering. I don't know, but that's what I want to talk about. Hopefully you guys were able to get something out of this. I appreciate everyone coming that came, mainly my mods. I appreciate y'all. 2 of my mods. Proham CP3, Cutting Edge. I appreciate you coming. You know y'all be busy. I would just say this has reminded long ago of fall I took this. You're lucky. Yeah. Well, thank God. Not everyone is so lucky. It really bothers me that they can't find out if someone has this in advance if they take the steps to get the proper testing, or if their family or loved ones start to notice behaviors in them. It really sucks that you can't find out until after they're gone. So I don't know. But yeah, thank you to everybody that came. Thank you to everybody that is going to watch the replay. Put your comments and your thoughts in the comment section. I enjoy feedback. Duh. Risk of hot taking. You gotta be blessed about it. Be grateful. Okay. All right, you guys have a good rest of your day. Thank you for coming. I'm out of here. Bye.